What's up, everyone? Andrew Olar with Dirt Rider here, and we're at Cahuilla Creek Motocross in Anza, California, getting ready to test this bike in front of me, a 2018 KTM 125 SX. Jay Clark put a lot of work in this thing to build this project bike, and I'm going to ask him to come into the frame here to tell us all about it. All right, so we got the man here, Jay Clark, the project bike builder. Jay, tell us all about this bike, man.
Well, we got a good deal on this thing this summer. Found it at a good deal and cheap, and the guy was needing to leave town. They're moving back to Europe, and so I was able to get a good deal on this race bike. And it had been raced by some novices and stuff like that, so it wasn't extremely well taken care of, but the bottom end seemed fine. But we went ahead and went through the cylinder. Tom Morgan's a guy I've known for a long time, and he does great work with the cylinder, did the head, got that all set up for us, and we just put it in there. We didn't go down and paint the frame and all that. This bike was as it was, so we got the cylinder put on, V-Force reed cage. We went ahead and went with the key and carb. We get those from Sudco, and then JD jetting kit. And you'll find out today it seems pretty good, pretty well jetted. And then for the suspension, they already had a single spring WP conversion on there, and so Factory Connection set that up for us for the little bit bigger weight than what it was. So we got the single spring conversion, which so far we're thinking is pretty decent on some of the other bikes we've tried on. So we're looking forward to see what you think on this bike. You don't have to mess with the air. So we got the single spring conversion. They also did the shock for us. And then got our UFO plastic decal works graphics. A lot of the same products we usually use, Vertex piston. And you can see it looks really nice. Don't have a ton of money into it. We did go with SRT wheels, Super sprockets, TM Designs chain guide, and got our scar pegs. Moto Seat, of course, always does some cool looking seat covers for us. And so the thing looks good, and we don't have a ton of money into it, so it'll be a fun thing for you to ride.
Absolutely, and the bars obviously are ODI, and I recall you had mentioned the levers the other day. Those are a new brand you're working with?
Yeah, because both of them were bent, and so and I work with Bulletproof on a lot of our off-road builds, and they're like, we made some levers, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, worth checking out. You know, they have a different feel than the stock ones, a little bit bigger. I think a lot of guys would like them. I'm so used to the stock ones, I'm not quite sure yet, so I'll have to we'll see what you think as well. But they're really nice pieces out of billet. Of course, being that's their company, so really nice pieces.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so and a brand you had been working with before, as you mentioned, on the dual sport models. So really cool. Looking forward to checking out. And then also the rear tire is the Geomax MX-12, right?
Yeah, so that's a little treat for you. So this MX-12 is really good in sandy conditions and muddy conditions. So right now, this morning, it's going to be perfect out there in the track. And even till, like out here at this track at Cahuilla, it'd be good even till noon. And a lot of tracks, this tire, people don't think it's going to be as good as it is. But most of the time, they're always really happy with it when they test it out. So a lot of guys, it's a good tire, especially if you're racing. You could bring an extra wheel and have this on for your morning practice, your first moto, and then switch to your other wheel with your regular, say, MX-33 for the second moto. So it's a good tire for that. So I'm looking forward that you get to try it out.
Yeah, super pumped for that. And then one last quick question I have, and perhaps the viewers would want to know too: what blend of VP fuels do you run in this bike?
So this has just got C12, and we're actually mixed with pump gas, but it's like we got like 3 gallons of C12. 2 gallons of pump gas to our mix, so we don't have to be straight race gas in this thing, so it makes it kind of nice. So it's not too expensive.
Very cool. All right. Well, I mean, I was sold the moment you rolled this thing out of the van this morning, as far as being super excited to ride it. So I'm gonna spend some laps on this bike and get some feedback on it, and likely have a ton of fun doing so. After that, we'll get back to you with some feedback on the bike. So we just finished up spinning several laps on this bike and another 125 SX that Jay has, which is 2019, which is the newer generation. And they're both comparable as far as the engine specs, and the main difference really, aside from the model updates itself, is the fork. This one obviously, as Jay mentioned, has a spring conversion. The other has a standard WP air fork, but both have been massaged by factory connection. So anyway, it was really cool to be able to compare the two bikes, because this bike with the combination of the fork with the coil spring in it, and this chassis is actually a little softer, a little more, little flexier, less rigid than the new generation. And between the two bikes, they're both great, but I personally enjoyed this one a little more. Both the engines ran great, but the chassis was just a little more forgiving on some of the acceleration bumps and some of the square edge braking bumps as well. And the power was awesome. This thing just pulls just forever. Obviously, you're shifting a lot because it's 125, and you know each gear only goes so far. But yeah, engine was phenomenal. I could definitely race this in the 125 class and have a ton of fun and be competitive, I feel. Suspension was really well balanced, except for Jay, and he's a little heavier than me, but it was still super plush. Like I said, very well balanced. The fork was stiff enough so they absorbed a lot of the big impacts, of course, but also on slap down landings, it was, like I said, really plush. And same with the shock. I mean, I could land sitting down off of some acceleration bumps or just a small jump landing, and it just, like I said, zero harshness, and complemented by the chassis too. I think the chassis does a great job of just absorbing everything. So
you know, I'm just loving it and excited to have these things for the winter for Spencer and I to play with, and we'll probably keep one for a while and see how it goes.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you again for letting us ride it and building this awesome bike. And yeah, now I'm really looking forward to the next time I get to ride 125 two-stroke. So it's definitely been too long, and stoked to have come out here today.
Awesome, great deal.
So that wraps up for Jay's 2018 KTM 125 SX project bike riding impression. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're not on dirtrider.com, head on over to our website to read the full story about this bike. Thanks again.